Hi guys, it's Vicky. I'm back again to do a layout share. More pictures for the Myrtle Beach Vacation album. The background here is from the Pier collection by Crate Paper. It's called Treasure. The picture is my son in the water. These I cut up using my banner punch from EK Success. It's the big one. You'll see I ran some stitching through the banners. I was only going to put one line of stitching, but I screwed this up. It was awkward, it bowed, so I just ran a bunch of stitches over it and made it look like I did it on purpose. Like that was the plan all the time. You'll see I used some gray, what are they called? Enamel dots. I used a little vellum in here. The paper that I used, it's just some scraps from some of my 6x6 pads, and I used the same papers all the way through for layering, for banners down here. I typed up the statements here, once again using my word processor thingy on my laptop. And when I first cut them up and laid them against this background, it was just a little too white or stark, so I took my marker pen and just went around the edges, and I feel like that really took care of the problem. These little geotags, I know I got them at paperissues.com, but it was a long time ago. But they're just like little sticker geotags, and there's a bunch of them, and most of them have letters on them, but these have little symbols. What else? This is the Kenzie font from Thickers. Down here, I'm pretty sure these flares are from a flare for buttons on Etsy. If you want to check that store out, have your wallet and be ready to order, because it's just the nicest flare I feel out there. She does a really good job on her flare buttons. Shelly is her name. The little wood Polaroids are Maya Road. Had them forever. Had this so long, I'm pretty sure this is probably Freckled Fawn or Studio Calico. This little sticker, couldn't tell you who it's from, guys. I'm sorry about that. Again, did I mention that's my son? If you've watched my videos, the only person I ever scrapbook is my son, my grandson, and sometimes myself, so you know who it is. It says you, and over here I put are funny and witty, are so loved, you are an awesome dad, you have great judgment, are handsome, you most of all were right about those waves. And I told the story on my last video. I don't know if you got to watch it, but when we were in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina this summer, my goodness, those waves were so big and so strong. I've never been to Myrtle Beach, so I don't know if that's the norm, but I've been to Lauderdale, Miami, Jacksonville Beach, Daytona Beach. I've been to the Gulf side. We lived on the Gulf side, Tampa and St. Pete, for years. From the time I'm 5, 6 years old, we went to Florida. And when we first went out on the beach in our bathing suits and everything ready to swim, my son said, "Mom, you need to be careful. Those waves are really strong." And I was like,
"Listen, I've been to the East Coast before. I know about the waves on this side of the coast."
And he was like,
I have too, and I'm telling you, these are just a little different.
and they were bigger than normal, or than I'm used to, but there was a funny strength to the waves. Now, I talked about this on yesterday's video. We did more when we were on vacation than just talked about the big waves. But right now, the pictures that I'm doing happen to revolve around the strength of the waves. Anyway, I thought that maybe he just didn't realize that I've been on the East Coast before, or I know how strong waves are, but he was right. When we got out there, the waves were and forceful. And what was weird, like when you walked out into the water, I know that this is kind of usual. You know how the bottom of the water, like the floor of the ocean, as you're going out into the water, it's sand, of course, and it's uneven. But at this time, like you would be walking and all of a sudden there would be like a 10 to 20 inch drop in the sand. So like it would be smooth, 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 and then go down really far. I'm used to the drops and the little gullies by 4 to 8 inches, but these were huge. I almost lost my footing several times. That was a little scary for me. Now, 10 years ago, it wouldn't have been scary for me, but it was just weird. So that's the reason about all the talk of the big, strong waves. You know, like I said, here it says, most of all, you were right about those waves. When he first told me, if I rolled my eyes, I wasn't believing him. I was thinking, I know about these waves. I had to pay him some kind of honor and put it in writing. You were right, because believe me, I don't say that often. Anyway, guys, probably by now I have zoomed in, and let's go to the next layout. I think that this will probably be my opening page in my album for Myrtle Beach. Shooting for an entire album of the vacation, because believe me, we have enough pictures to fill at least 10 3-ring binders. I usually like to have a introduction page, and I think that this is going to be it. And if you like, once I finish that album, I could come back and page through it for you if you're at all interested in seeing that. Kitty Scrapper, who is Nancy, hiya Nancy, she shared some of her old scrapbook albums, and I really enjoyed that. Gosh, I hate to bring this up again. I'm going through a divorce this year. You know, it's rough. I'm okay with it. We're just ready to move on, blah, 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 blah. But no matter how you slice it, you know, it's rough. It's a divorce. It's somebody that I've seen every day of my life for 26 years, and I'm not going to see him anymore. That kind of makes me sad. I mean, I just don't know what kind of relationship we'll have. If it was up to me, we'd be best friends now. We could put all the issues aside because expectations would change, but I don't know about him. So, where I don't want to sound like I'm depressed, hanging by a thread, I'm not, but it's been a rough year. I'm worried about everybody else. I'm worried about finances. You know, am I going to spend my life by myself? Why am I talking about all this? You get the picture. Anyway, it was a little bit rough of a year. Summer, I was sick in July for like 3 weeks with a sinus infection, but it wasn't the best summer in history. And I love summer. I look forward to summer every year. And we're in Cincinnati. We don't have much of a summer. It didn't really warm up around here until after like the second week into June. So after I was on the couch for a few weeks in July, I was like, this just stinks. And then my son asked if I would like to go to Myrtle Beach with him and Nate. They had the vacation planned for several weeks, but I didn't think I could afford it. I didn't know if I could make that long drive. It took about 12 to 13 hours to get down there. He is like I was when I was younger. He wants to get in the car and go. He wants to drive straight through. Listen, when I was younger, I would drive straight through to St. Pete. And when we lived in St. Pete, I'd drive straight through to Ohio. And so he comes by it naturally. Like I would drive 14 to 16 hours cramped up in an economy size car. And then we get there, I would unpack and I'd go right out to the beach if the sun was still out. But I know he likes to get in the car and vroom, he's gone. And I can't do that. I wanted to stop on the way. I need to get out and stretch. I got to have something to eat. I got to go to the potty. You know, all kinds of things. And I was like, this, I can't drive with him. I did think about flying and having him pick me up. But anyway, I end up driving with him. He was the perfect travel companion. But what's new? Even when he was like a year old and we were moving to Florida and I'd have to come back to Ohio to visit or for business or whatever, he was a great travel companion. So the title is, It Turned Out to Be One Heck of a Fun Summer. Thank you, son. We were burnt to a crisp going to dinner, and we went to a place called Broadway on the Beach. If you're ever in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, make sure that's on your places to visit. It's very nice. They have rides for kids and teenagers. They have so many restaurants and foods and waffle things and cotton candy and souvenir shops. I just really enjoyed this evening. But we had been out in the sun all day and we were red as lobsters. Me and him, not Nate. Nate tans, never burns. That was us in the car doing selfies again on the way to Broadway on the Beach. Look what I have. Oh, I had to save this for such a special layout. I love it. You see this little paper here? I don't know what it is or where you get it, but Tracy, who is giddy for scrapbooking, I won one of her giveaways, and this was included. So thank you, Tracy. Put the 4x6 photo on here. These are Dear Lizzie, and I actually have them out here. Thickers, you know, I don't remember the names. This is also crepe paper, the Pure Collection, as is this, that, and this. You'll see I used some little sequins down here to look like sand. I got my date down here, Myrtle Beach. I have a lot of layouts that I want to do for my vacation album. So sometimes I need to do an easy layout. I am a very slow scrapper. I get up and I have to do other things. The phone rings. I leave and go to the grocery. I gotta work sometimes from home. That's the main reason I don't do process videos, is because literally sometimes I will start on a layout at 10 a.m. and I do not finish it until 10 p.m. Now, I'm not working on it the whole 12 hours, of course, but I've been interrupted. And sometimes it's just everything I can do to stay focused on that layout over the course of a day. But sometimes I need to sit down, get the picture on a layout, not worry about pulling out my embossing gun or powder or cutting up this and that. I need to just put things together and make it look as good as I can and get it into the album. That's what I did with this layout. This is the Boys Rule collection from Crate Paper. And can you hear me smile? I'm just smiling ear to ear. I need to do a rack video because Miss Judy Bakes 22 sent me Boys Rule by Crate Paper. Judy, I busted right into it, so I hope that's okay. And this whole layout, I think everything, all of this is from collection. This is Studio Calico, of course. I colored it using my Memento Luxe ink. I love these ink pads. They're juicy. I think that they dry well. They blend nicely. It leaves a nice, thick, solid coat, no matter if you're stamping on paper or an item. Now, they dry slow, but other than that, I love these, and I love the colors. Memento Luxe. These were wood veneers, and I actually embossed them using Recollections Detailed Embossing Powder. This is a basic gray sticky alpha. All of these are from the 6x6, which Judy sent me. No, it was a 12x12 cutout. The vellum is from the collection, just everything. She sent me the 6x6 pad and the 12x12 sheet, so I really enjoy this collection. Thank you so much, Judy. And I'll be back now that I'm able to do videos again. I've got quite a few to do, so I hope you guys don't get sick of me. Let me zoom in a little bit here. This was Nate. Let me explain. That was, well, I don't think I need to explain it, do I? This is Nate coming in on his boogie board. And the journaling reads, I would have crawled through glass to be able to see you do this for the first time, Nate. I love you. I think he probably gets sick of hearing me say I love you. There you go. I really like this collection. It's just perfect for Nate because he's at that age where he's not a baby anymore, but you know, I still like to include cars and rocket ships and video games. So, Judy, I can't thank you enough, honey. And vacation. The background is October afternoon. It's that circus collection. Look, you'll remember if you see this. Yeah, that's the background. I just love this wood grain for beachy type of photos. This is the boys jumping into the waves again. Some Recollections bling. This is an old paper bag that came in one of my Studio Calico purchases. These little brads here, I cut off the back using my Tim Holtz scissors and just stuck them on rather than sticking them through with the hole. And those are Paper Studio. I just got a little hodgepodge of different labels here. I think they come from the Snap collection by Simple Stories and October Afternoon. These gold stars came from studiocalico.com. Look, I use these little blue paper clips. I think I picked those up at Staples for $1. Here's some tickets that Laura Loves Lace sent to me eons ago. Thank you, Laura. This And that and this are all from the Pure collection. It's the little 3D elements. See the little blue thing here and over here? Colleen, who is XO Irish XO, sent those to me, and they're so cool. They have several different sayings, and she sent me red ones, blue ones. This says Sweet Paradise. Thank you, Colleen. You guys remember this, don't you? The Tim Holtz film strip that comes in that little metal can. I used my it's actually a wood stamp of a palm tree, and here's some seagulls flying away. I sprinkled a little black Heidi Swap spray. Here's some little red enamel dots. I wanted to pull that red from here and there over. It really does matter, you know, keeping things in groups of 3 or using 3, 5, 7 items. It really does make your page look better. This is a little piece of vellum back here. I used some tracing paper to give this some depth, and I'll show you how like 3D this is in a minute. And I drew my lines in for my journaling. I mentioned this in my previous video. I usually do not do a lot of journaling. Sometimes a couple of words. I try to always put the date on the layout, but I tend not to do a whole lot of journaling. With this album and these pictures, I really want the story to be told. So I feel like I'm journaling more in this album than I ever have before. And I'm going to tell you, it's a little rough. The view you see here is 99% of what I looked at during our time in Myrtle Beach, and I couldn't be happier about it. I was scared to death that I wouldn't be able to make the ride, but I did, and I got to see Nate on his first trip, on his first trip to the beach. I loved every minute of it. I clearly need to go back and fix that so that anybody looking at the album can read it. Maybe they could. I need my eyes examined. I need new glasses. Don't you think gold is such a great accent for beachy pictures? And there you can see how many layers I used. And see, I put the tracing paper, just kind of gave it that extra oomph. The background cardstock on this layout is once again Basil Ultra Thick cardstock. It's always white and it's always smooth. I just love a thick background paper. Sometimes if I'm using like pattern paper, I will actually adhere it to Basil Ultra Thick. I don't know why, because once it's in the album, no one cares. But I like the way it looks when I'm showing it on YouTube. If you just have pattern paper, it droops and it slides down. This again is Eric. I used my Heidi Swap heart stencil for this. I just used my watercolors to paint in the hearts and then went back with the black marker. I wished that I would not have used the black marker, but you know, hindsight 2020. Studio Calico arrows, I colored them using embossing powder. This is thickers. This and that came from the same set. More arrows. And this is also thickers. I believe it's the Remark thickers. And here I just punched out a bunch of hearts, kind of folded them up a little. You probably can't see it here, but there's a little dimension to the hearts because I only glued them in the middle. So they pop up a little bit on the sides, but I just glued them flat down there. There's no pop-up dots under there. I didn't want to put this on here. That was not part of the plan. But I got ink on my finger and touched it over here, so I had to cover that up. It's just a real simple layout. Again, it's one that I don't think it looks bad. It's light and airy, like the beach. And it's another page in the album, finished, complete. Did I tell you this was an EK success punch? If you're interested. And here's another easy peasy layout. Ultra thick cardstock, Heidi Swapp gold spray, 3 4x4 pictures. I cut this one down, and yeah, I cut that one down. On the background is some vellum and tracing paper to make it stick up off the page a little bit, just to give it a little something interesting. Here is a little bit of tulle I folded over and put behind this photo. This is a stamp set. Oh, who is that by? I don't know. I'll put it in the comments below. But it's just the cutest stamp set. Maybe I'll grab it and show it to you because I think it's one of the best dad stamp sets I've ever found. Here it says, as I watched Eric tie Nate's trunks, it melted my heart. He's the best father that I know and have ever known. Isn't it funny how something as little as tying shorts can mean so much? These two did not leave each other's side the entire time. And Nate kept right up with his dad. Like I mentioned before, he's go, go, go when he gets by that beach and he's on vacation. I'm glad he's like that. I was too when I was younger. But they hung tight and it was ride or die. They didn't leave each other's side. My son's friend was down here with his little girl, and I even offered to watch the kids so that the boys could go out one night, you know, go to a bar, you know, whatever, have some adult fun. And he didn't even want to do it, so he was with his buddy the whole time. I just thought this was so cute. They didn't even know I was taking their picture. So again, just a very simple layout. I used the Recollections detail embossing powder to do this. I used VersaFine embossing pad and heated it up with my gun. This is not vacation, but it's the week after we got home. We celebrated Nate's 8th birthday. You talk about stash diving. This is the Dots and Stripe collection, the background paper here from Echo Park. I mean, that has to be 3 to 4 years old, but it's still around. So if you like it, you can grab it. Colleen sent me these. She sent me a bunch of little borders. Thank you, Colleen. This was perfect. I was digging through my stash, trying to find something else to put on here, and I had laid those borders on top of the layout because it was almost done. And I looked down and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. These are cards from the Heidi Swapp collection, and my other buddy, who is Jill, the coffee mommy, sent me those. She got the collection, and as you know, they usually have 3 to 6 of each card, and she shared hers with me. Thank you so much, Jill. As you can see, I'm using them. Here are 4 Instax photos. Oh, let me show you. I cut the circle out here so it would lay over using my utility knife. This, of course, is me with Nate. He had a very small birthday party. It was just me, Eric, his dad, and his dad's best friend for like 21 years, Drake. His name is actually Eric, too, but they just always called him Drake growing up because there were two Erics. So that's me and Nate, my son, Nate, myself and Drake and Nate, and me and Nate again. Happy birthday, Nate. And this is Heidi Swap sticker letters. This is Thickers, and I think that's called Rain Boots. I'm not sure, but I really like this font. I think it looks so festive. These are some banners. I think it's pink paisley. Once again, 3 to 4 years old, guys, so I don't know if you could even find it if you do like it. Here's the Maya Road Polaroid wood veneers again. Notice how I'm using things up. These little circles with the hearts in it is Freckled Fawn wood veneers. I think they still have these. And I just took the number 8 and put in here because it was his 8th birthday. I think that pretty much covers it, right? And that's all the layouts I have for now. Let me thank you so much again for watching my videos and the nice compliments and conversation. I appreciate y'all so much. With that, I'm going to say goodbye. It's a rainy, old, cold Wednesday here in Cincinnati. I think I need a cheeseburger. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.